Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking into something pretty interesting, how we actually express time and, how events unfold using grammar.
Right, what linguists often call the syntactic representation of tense and aspect.
Exactly. It sounds maybe a bit abstract,
Hmm.
but how our sentences show when and how things happen is really fundamental.
Totally. And our goal here is basically to unpack some of the core ideas, see how tense and aspect are kind of built right into the sentence structure itself.
Okay, so first off, how are they represented? Is it just specific words or...
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? It could be words like yesterday, sure, but also the verb form itself, maybe word order, or even more hidden structural things. Linguists are trying to figure out those underlying mechanisms.
Gotcha. Okay, let's get into a really key distinction then. Perfective versus progressive aspect. What's the deal there?
Yeah, fundamental difference. So perfective is like seeing the event as a whole, a completed unit. Think, I read the book, done.
Okay, finished, like a snapshot.
Exactly. But progressive is different. I was reading the book. Now the focus is on the action happening, unfolding over time. You're sort of inside the event.
Right, ongoing. That makes sense.
And often, it's auxiliary verbs that signal this, like you just said, was reading.
Or is walking.
Precisely. The is gives you that progressive, that ongoing feel. And auxiliaries do tense too, like will arrive, obviously signals future tense.
So they're like little grammatical helpers for time and aspect.
Crucial helpers, yeah. They do a lot of heavy lifting in building that temporal picture.
Okay, now here's something that sounds a bit more technical maybe. The tense phrase, or TP.
Right, TP. It's a way linguists think about sentence structure. Instead of just words, think of layers. And TP is like a core layer, a sort of command center in the clause.
The command center for time?
Kinda, yeah. It's the part of the structure that anchors the whole event in time, past, present, future. It's fundamental to the sentence's design.
And does this TP thing interact with, like, time words? Yesterday, now.
Absolutely. It has to. So the tense marked in the structure, often on the verb or auxiliary, needs to make sense with adverbs like later or last week. They work together to give a coherent time frame.
Okay, now I was wondering, can you have aspect without tense? Or tense without aspect, grammatically speaking?
That's a really interesting question, and yeah, some languages seem to do that. You might find ways to clearly mark if an action is completed or ongoing. That's aspect, without grammatically specifying when it happened relative to now.
So the timing just comes from context.
Often, yeah, or maybe other markers. It really highlights that tense and aspect, while often linked, are sort of distinct grammatical jobs.
And can the sentence structure itself help figure out the tense?
Definitely. Sometimes a verb form might look ambiguous, maybe it could be past or present, but the surrounding words, the overall syntactic structure, can often disambiguate it. It forces one reading.
So the grammar itself provides clues.
Exactly.
And I guess this isn't the same everywhere. Languages must handle this differently.
Oh, massively different. Huge variation. Some languages change the verb ending, morphology. Others rely heavily on auxiliaries, like we discussed. Some might even use word order. It's incredibly diverse.
Right. Makes sense.
And it gets even trickier when you have clauses inside clauses, like he said that she had left.
Embedded tenses. Yeah.
Right. You have to figure out how the time of said relates to the time of had left. It adds layers of complexity to track the sequence of events correctly.
Okay, one last thing. The source material mentioned a connection to argument structure. How does that fit in?
Yeah, that's getting a bit more advanced, but the idea is that the kind of event can influence the aspect. So an event with a natural endpoint, like, say, build a house.
Okay, it has a clear finish point.
Right. That kind of event often naturally goes with a perfective view focusing on the completion, and that might subtly influence how we structure the sentence about it, who did what to whom. It connects the how of the action to the who and what.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So wrapping this up then, the big takeaway is...
I think it's that tense and aspect aren't just about verb meanings. They are deeply, deeply woven into the actual structure, the syntax of our sentences.
Using things like auxiliaries and these abstract layers like the tense phrase.
Exactly. And crucially, the way this happens varies a lot across the world's languages. It's not one single system.
So here's something for you listening to think about. Could the specific way your language handles time grammatically, how it marks completion or ongoing actions, could that subtly shape how you actually perceive time and events?
That's the provocative question. Do we think about actions differently just because our grammar packages them in a certain way? Something to ponder.
Definitely something to ponder. Thanks for diving deep with us today.